All right, finna go ahead and get it started. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of Champ podcast. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about the dirty work, episode 206. Now, this is going to be a topic that I got inspiration from my favorite artist, Big Sean, which I'll be discussing here in a few moments. Obviously, you already know. Albums in the bag, got the shirt on, man. You already know what time it is. A few things I want to say before I go ahead and get started. Make sure you go and follow me on Twitch, TikTok, Rumble, and on Spotify at Life of a Champ podcast on every single platform. As well, if you do not know me, my name is Champ and I help men build the foundation of masculinity. So if you need help, please contact me on any of my social medias for sure. But getting into it, another thing I want to say before I go to get it started, make sure you go ahead and follow me. Already not follow me. Make sure you go ahead and leave a like on my YouTube shorts as well as my YouTube clips. If there's a specific podcast that you want me to go ahead and make clips about or clips for, please let me know for sure. I'll be making some new clips this upcoming week regarding some of the live streams that I did earlier this week, so tap in with that for sure. But other than that, we're going to be discussing an interesting topic. It's something that's been brought to my attention recently, and I think has been all too normalized within my own mind, and not necessarily something that I acknowledge all the time within others' actions, but more importantly, obviously my own. But this is the dirty work. So, like I said, I got some inspiration from my favorite artist, Big Sean. It was definitely an interesting song that I heard, and he was basically talking about what it really takes. What is the journey of the man? What is the dirty work? What does it look like to put in the dirty work? What is different from doing the dirty work? And I'll say that a lot this episode. What is different compared to the average person? What does this look like? What does it take? And there were a lot of good things that I extracted from that, and of course I've already internalized a lot of that song, so I felt a lot of what was being said, which is very very important. And first things first, if we're being honest, most don't do it. Most don't know what is required to do it, and most don't even know what it is when it comes to me talking about the dirty work. But at the end of the day, it always still has to be done, and somebody has to do it, and hopefully that somebody is you. Hopefully you watching that understand thoroughly that this work needs to be done by somebody, and if nobody's doing it for you and yours, then that must be you that is doing it for you and yours, because really no one else is going to do it. So you might be asking, Champ, what is the dirty work? The dirty work it can be a lot of things, but I would say it all boils down to doing the work and putting in the work that no one really gets to fully see, but it's still getting done and it's still making progress towards whatever you would like, whatever goals that you're trying to pursue. And it is the work that will never truly get its full recognition and get the full flowers that it truly deserves. And maybe over time it might be able to get its recognition, but quite frankly, it is the work that most people truly do not see. They see the fruits of your labor and they wonder how you did it, but they don't necessarily ask or question the work that it took in order to have that come so easily. So that is what I deem to be the dirty work. The dirty work, the things that people don't want to do, the extra steps required, the extra sacrifices that you could make, the extra responsibility that one would take on their life, the extra hours of work while somebody would put in a few hours at their own job, you're putting in hours and hours after that. It is it is the extra work that you put into yourself. It is going to the gym when you don't feel like going. It's when your discipline is getting tested and you still prevail because you know that's what you have to do. And more importantly, that's what you get to do. You don't have to do anything, quite frankly. This is what you get to do. This is what you choose to do, and this is what you want to do. And even on your days off, you're still on to an extent. You're still on to an extent. And yeah, it's just a whole lot of things. And hopefully, like I had mentioned, you are the person that is in your life that is willing to do exactly what I've been talking about, exactly taking on the things that I've mentioned. Um, and you're willing to miss out on the things that others enjoy and that others cannot live without. You can live without this because you understand where you're going and where you want to be. And more importantly, that quite frankly, there's going to be a lot of roadblocks that come with this life that easily get in the way of most people. And like I mentioned, right, if you don't want to be like those people, the way that you would do it is by understanding the roadblocks that will come in between you and where you're trying to get to, right? And this is going to be pertaining to the dirty work, right? The dirty work is just being able to pay the price of greatness that so few are willing to pay and that so few will even know what it costs. That is truly the difference between the average person and the person who becomes extraordinary, is simply the dirty work. So, the question I have for you is this: are you really willing to put in the dirty work, or are you not? And another question I have for you is, do you just talk about it, or do you actually do it? Are you willing to make the sacrifices that it takes in order to get to where you truly say that you want to go? Because quite frankly, if you just look around, most people will talk about a certain thing, they'll talk about a certain lifestyle, they'll talk about a certain goal, but they won't talk about doing the dirty work that it takes in order to achieve that specific goal. That should be a main topic of conversation between the people that actually do that, the people that are actually on the path that they say that they're on, and the people that aren't. Is a lot of people. Some people just talk about results. Other people talk about the work in order to get that result, and that is and that should be much more of your importance, because the results the results will come if you're doing what you need to go ahead and do. But if your focus isn't on what you're trying to do and what you're doing, then quite frankly, your focus is wrong. And what you must understand, and this is what I truly observe, is most people's focus is in the wrong place. They're focused on they want the perks without doing the work. They want the trophy and not know what it takes to grab it. There's so many examples that I can use just like that, right? They want to talk about these things, but they don't want to act in order to get these things that they talk about. And I think that's definitely something that isn't exactly always talked about. It's what's talked about to an extent, right? Yeah, like I said, everybody wants to talk about the rewards, right? The fruits of somebody's labor, but they did never want to talk about the labor in order to get the fruits, right? It's talked about so often, but rarely ever executed. So the question I have for you, and I will begin to ask you this question: are you really willing to put in the dirty work, or are you not? Are you going to be a man of character that's going to say, I'm willing to do whatever it takes in order to make my dreams a reality, to make my future a reality? And I hope you're willing to answer that call and say, of course. Of course I am. I'm willing to do anything and everything. I'm willing to sacrifice anything and everything. I'm willing to take on more responsibility. I'm willing to void myself from distraction. That's a huge one that I'll get into in a second. But yes, that is going to be the topic for today. If you do have any questions, or maybe you have some comments about something that I've mentioned, or maybe something that I'm missing, feel free to leave it in the comments, whether you're rewatching this or watching this live. But the dirty work and the rewards of the dirty work extend much more beyond money, right? I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to about putting in work, they're always so money focused that money is going to be the result that you reap. And of course, if you're doing the right work, it can be and should be a result of your work. But at the same time, the dirty work that I'm talking about is for more than money. And that's what you must realize, is the people who truly have achieved greatness, they needed a focus that is greater than money. And of course, some do get away with, just having money as their main focus, but those are the same people that truly do not understand what is really worth valuing within this life. And honestly, I would say that's something that I've mentioned on previous podcasts that I think is really, really goofy, in my opinion. There's so many people who have money at the top of their value hierarchy, and they have so many things that are under that truly should be above money. But but you must ask the question, of course, what is above money? And for me, when we talk about what is worth more than money, right? It's going to be a lot of different things, and I've made a podcast about this, but we're talking about the dirty work. And when I'm talking about the dirty work, I'm talking about the genuine impact that will come from that work that you put in. We're talking about doing purposeful work. We're talking about doing intentional work. We're talking about doing truly meaningful work. In a world filled with people who don't live life purposefully, intentionally, and meaningfully, it is very, very important that you understand and clarify that you must do some type of work that is going to be meaningful, fulfilling, purposeful, and intentional. Or you're just going to be like everybody else. Observe most people. Most people are truly doing and being something that they truly do not care about, something that they feel like they have to do, something that they don't feel like they get to do, right? And that entire different perspective is going to be the difference between somebody who's living a truly meaningful and purposeful existence and somebody who's just trying to get by and just trying to get distracted, trying to get to the next distraction. And if you really boil it down, right, that is what so many people do. They put in work, they go to work, right? And then the next thing that the thing that they're trying to always, get a hold of is the next distraction that will be from the life that they truly do not care about. That sounds very, very meaningless to me. That sounds very, very purposeless to me. But yet, it is so something that is so often normalized. But in order to get out of that situation, you must be willing to put in the dirty work. You must be willing to make the decisions that most people wouldn't make and most people couldn't make. So, are you willing to put in the dirty work? Are you willing to do and put in the extra hours? And I'm not necessarily always talking about working harder, or don't work smarter, work harder. I'm not trying to talk about any of those things, but at the end of the day, in order to get to where you want to go, you're going to have to put in more work. You're going to have to, but here's the thing, the work that you do is going to be more meaningful anyways. So it shouldn't be something that is so, oh, I have to put in more work. It should be something that like, oh, this is what's required. I want to live this. I want to be this. I want to be this more importantly, right? I want to be the character that, has this. What is it going to take? What is the price? You should be curious about all these things. You should be willing to accept all of these things. And that's just what it is. Like I said, you either choose a path where you're putting in more work, you're doing the dirty work, or you're choosing the path of choosing the next distraction. And the choice of the next distraction is an interesting one because it's definitely way more easily accessible. It's way more socially acceptable. It's easier to do. The work that you put in are everywhere, and you can enjoy it. You can enjoy it very, very easily, right? But here's the thing: it isn't worthwhile. And the only way to avoid yourself from that is by doing the dirty work. So are you willing to do the dirty work, or would you just want to be like everybody else who's getting to that next moment of distraction? That's all it is. Observe most people. They get home, they just really want to go on their phones, or they get home, they just want to put on some TV. They want to watch whatever. They want to watch whatever, but it really doesn't mean anything, really. But they enjoy themselves. They enjoy distracting themselves, and it gets them to go. It gets them by. It passes time, and then they just have to go ahead and go back to sleep. Wake up, do the same meaningless work that they don't care about, but they do for a paycheck, and they give this illusion that it truly matters. When in reality, they know for damn sure they don't really give a shit about this job, and this job really doesn't give a shit about them. Or you could take a different route. You could say, I'm willing to do the dirty work. I'll do it. Fuck it, I'll do the dirty work. But if you choose to go ahead and make this decision, you must understand that you should be expected, that you should expect to be misunderstood. And that is something that is this can kind of deter people from the path. Let's just say some people would even want to do this, but then they start to talk about it with other people, and most people just don't understand. Most people will try to give you, "Oh, man, you're young, man. You don't have to you don't have to do that, bro. You could just enjoy this. Enjoy your time, man. You're young," or whatever the excuse they'll give you, right? But they just don't understand. Think about it. If it's not coming from an exceptional person, then quite frankly, you should probably not listen to it, in my opinion, right? So, when you're going about doing the dirty work and clarifying what that truly looks like to you, expect to be misunderstood. Most don't understand the results that the dirty work could truly reap, right? They don't understand true sacrifice. They don't understand true discipline. They don't understand true focus. And they don't adopt true responsibility within their lives. Because if you really boil it down, right, there's gonna be basic levels. There's basic levels that anyone and everyone can go ahead and do and achieve with sacrifice, discipline, focus, and true responsibility, right? There's going to be the basic level, but here's the thing: we're talking about doing the dirty work. We're talking about doing much more than what is asked. Because here's the thing: what is asked of you in this life is probably not going to be that much, right? Just look at the basic asks of everyone else around you. Oh, I just go either go to school or get a job, pay your bills, and have a family. Pay some rent. That's it. But here's the thing: the people that do more than that, the people who want to do more than that, are the same people who truly choose meaningful work, who are truly willing to put in the dirty work, who are truly willing to do whatever it takes, who understand that the dirty work is going to look like more discipline. The dirty work is going to look like adopting more responsibility. The dirty work is going to look like choosing and making sacrifices for your life that you know you need to make in order to get to where you want to go. And with doing all of these things, it's not easy. That's another thing I want to mention. These things are not easy to go ahead and do, but it's not necessarily supposed to be easy. And when you begin to explain your struggle to anyone, very few will understand, and very few will be able to see exactly what you see, and that's just what it is. So, like I said, expect to be misunderstood. Expect for your struggle to not be understood. As simple as that, right? And that's just what it is. That is the price of doing the dirty work. The price of being able to do all the things that I've mentioned is for people to have a lack of understanding. People to tell you you need to chill, man. You don't. What are you doing, man? But then you look at their life and you don't want to be anything like them, so you don't even hear them out. And that's just what it is. So here's the thing, man. Are you willing to put in the dirty work or are you not? Are you willing to do and be whatever it takes in order to get to where you want to go, or are you not? Do you just want to be like everyone else, or do you want to be better than everyone else? And when I say better than everyone else, I'm saying doing the dirty work that most people aren't willing to do. And at the end of the day, the way that it all boils down to me is this: it's the man's jobs to go ahead and do the dirty work. Life of a man has a lot of pressure and has a lot of pain, but each and every one of us, and hopefully you watching this, are built for it. You're built to go through those moments of struggle. You're built to go through those moments of pressure and endure the pain that is the life of a man in order to do the dirty work and to be the person that can reap the benefits of the dirty work. And hopefully it can extend out to everyone you love as well. And that is the ultimate it is the ultimate selfless act, is to do the dirty work. The more dirty work you have to do, or you do, the less someone else in your family or of someone that you love has to do. And that is, of course, it's going to be at a cost, like I had mentioned. But like I said, the result is going to be much greater than what most people could even imagine. Isn't there people struggle in your life right now that you would love to end some of their struggles, or maybe even all of them? Wouldn't that be worth it to you, to end somebody that you love, their struggle at least, right? So understand that you must endure the pain. You must go through the pressure. You must do the dirty work that a man is supposed to do. Few will understand. few will do with you, but at the end of the day, somebody has to do it. And if it's not you, who's it going to be? Is it going to be anyone at all? Who knows? But like I said, most don't do it. Most don't know what is required to go ahead and do it. And most don't even know what it even is. So you must clarify that for yourself. Ask yourself the question, what does this look like for the path that I'm trying to go down? For the path that I'm trying to go down, what does the dirty work look like? Maybe it looks like waking up extra early to take care of your obligations that you deem to be of the most importance. Maybe this looks like staying up a little later to go ahead and do something or work on yourself that will reap you benefits in the future. Maybe this will look like finding time to dedicate to yourself, to a habit that most don't do, that you think most should do. And maybe this looks like, while everyone else is doing something else, you're choosing a different action than they are. So are you willing to do the dirty work or are you not? For me personally, I believe, just as you probably should believe, that this is the only way of life to do the dirty work. There's no other way. There's no other better choice than to put in the hours of dedicated work into something that you're truly passionate about. Because like I had mentioned before, your only alternative to meaningful and purposeful work is distraction. You're going to do one of those two things. You're going to find yourself either doing meaningful work or find yourself seeking distraction, whether that's with people you love or with people or by yourself rather. That's pretty much what it is at the end of the day. It's going to be one of those two things. And if you're a person right now that doesn't have that clarified, then you're probably distracting yourself. And then you must ask yourself, is that truly a good, worthy use of your time? Your one life that you have. Is that truly worth your time? And hopefully you come to the conclusion that it's not. And most wouldn't understand this. This is something that blows my mind every day. Most still don't understand that. And that's just what it is. That's being real. They just don't understand. And like I said, this is the path of the misunderstood. So take this path. I recommend taking this path because, quite frankly, it's going to give you a lot of excitement. It's going to give you a lot of character challenges. It's going to give you a lot of a good taste of what being a good quality man looks like. Is a man who's willing to put in the dirty work. A man, like I mentioned, who's willing to take on more pressure, who's willing to endure more pain, because he understands truly that that's what a man's built for. They're built for these things. They're built to last. They're built to go through the dirty work that no one wants to go ahead and do. Define that for yourself. Defining that for yourself and acting on that will literally change your entire life. And more importantly, not defining that for yourself and not doing what you don't have defined, I guess, will indeed affect your life as well. It will have a great impact on your life. Ask yourself the question, have you seen anyone in this life that isn't doing the dirty work? Do you truly want to be like them? Are they living the life? Are you envious of their life that they're living? And for the most part, it probably is going to be a no. You only envy the people or want to be like the people who have done the dirty work, who put in the time and hours that most people do not see. That's just what it is. They put in the work that might not ever get the recognition that it truly deserves. Somebody has to do this work, man. If it's not you, who is going to be? Like I had mentioned, do you want to avoid some people in your life? Do you want to avoid them having to deal with struggle, deal with more pressure, deal with more problems? That if you were to just adopt more responsibility, to make more sacrifices, if you're willing to endure more struggle, if you're willing to endure more pain, you can avoid that. You can avoid the other people from feeling that same specific way. So that is what I have to say for today's episode. Do the dirty work, or do the dirty work. There's no other option. Distraction or dirty work. That's I guess that's an option, but at least that's not much of an option for me. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for today's episode. Do the dirty work. Most don't do it. Be the person that does it. Stand out. Enjoy the fruits of your labor after you do the dirty work, and understand that you'll still be misunderstood. That should be something that you hopefully can be present enough to enjoy and to understand that it is going to be worth something one day if it's not already reaping the benefits of the work for sure. But other than that, I've said everything that I need to say for today's episode. This was episode 206 of the Life of a Champ podcast, talking about doing the dirty work. I'll be doing another live stream probably on either Sunday or Monday. Tapping with that for sure. I'll probably do one Monday. But I'll be reacting to some more videos. If there's a video or creator that you want me to go ahead and react to, please let me know for sure. And other than that, just go ahead and follow me on Twitch, TikTok, Rumble, at Life of a Champ podcast on every single platform. And also make sure you go and follow me on Spotify. Next podcast is going to be on Thursday. You already know what time it is. And other than that, tap in with the music live stream that I'll be having later tonight. Should be a good one. My favorite artist. And I'm looking forward to it, man. It's been a minute since I've done one of those music live streams. So it'll be something I enjoy. And hopefully, if you like music, something that you can enjoy with me as well. Y'all have a good night. And like I said, tap in with the next podcast on Thursday.